Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a look at this beauty, a 2013 Audi TTS. Now if you ask me, which generation of the TT was the best looking TT? Personally, I think I'm gonna have to go with the first generation with this Bauhaus, very clean design. But when it comes to the driving characteristics and how the car drives, how fun they are, this is definitely up there. This is of course a brand new platform compared to the first generation, which was based on the Golf platform. Wasn't that much of a fun car to drive, but this one, the TTS specifically, is completely different. So what we're gonna do in this video, have a look at this beautiful design from the front, side, rear, the stunning interior. This, I think, was probably the best era for Audi interiors. I just love what's going on in here. We're gonna have a look at that in detail as well. And then last but not least, we're gonna take this, of course, for a drive. In case you missed it, my 11-hour online class in design sketching is now only $47. If you have any desire to pick up the skill of sketching products using simple tools such as a big pen and cheap print paper, this is something you want to check out. Over the years, I've taught thousands of students from all around the world how to sketch cars and products, and most of them have seen amazing results from my classes. Analog Designer Pro Pack is the full bundle of all my classes I've released over the years, and it's yours for just $47. Check out everything that's included and see what my students have to say in the link in the description, or simply visit analogdesignerpropack.com. Now, first of all, let's check out what's underneath the hood of this 2013 Audi TTS. You got a 2-liter inline 4, putting out 265 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, connected to a 6-speed automatic transmission. You do have quattro all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 takes about 5.2 seconds. It's not a slow car, this thing. Fuel economy comes in at 23 city, 31 highway, and the price for this one right here at the European Auto House comes out at $17,999. So with that said, let's close this back down and let's check out this beautiful design that we have going on for this 2013 model. Now, as I said, this being the facelifted version, meaning that we do have LED daytime run lights down here at the bottom. We also have a new lower section that looks a lot like the Audi TT RS that came in here for the TTS for 2011, I do believe it was facelifted. Beautiful looking design in the front and very simplistic design. We have these lines, beautiful lines coming from the A-pillar going down into the front end here, framing this grille. So we have a nice line flow going from the A-pillar all the way down here, fog lights down here as well. Now you can have this piece in silver, but thankfully this one is in body color. It looks so much better when you have this piece being in black. Now you do have the TTS badge right here in the grille as well, looking nice, and the chrome rings, of course. A little bit of chrome in the grille here, which is totally fine. It just breaks up all this blackness that we have going on in the front end. So stunning design for the Audi TT when it comes to the front end design, and this is sort of the philosophy I want to go back to, a more simplistic design where you focus on key graphic elements to build up the design of the car itself. Stunning design. We have a lower front lip as well, looking very beautiful. One detail I love here, I forgot to mention, is this area here, how this curves down and then creates a little bit of an upswing right at the bottom here, which looks very nice and definitely plants the car on the ground. Now looking at the side view here, this being the facelifted version, meaning that we do have the 5-spoke designs here for the wheels, and personally I honestly prefer the pre-facelift designs. These are two 45mm wide tires, 19 inches tall wheels, and these look good, 5-spoke design like this, but personally 100% prefer the pre-facelift design that we had for this specific Audi TT generation, or the RS wheels. We have two 45mm wide tires in the rear end as well, and what I love about this design Audi TT in general when it comes to the side view is if you look at this line here, how this line creates the starting point for the taillights going right here. So the shoulder line going from the taillights, cutting through all the way to the front end, and beautifully wraps around this big fender in the front, and then continues and creates the starting point for the front headlight as well. So we have sort of a symmetry in the Audi TT that is very unusual to see. And this is something that I think was even more pronounced in the first generation Audi TT, looking stunning here in black as well. I do believe this has been lowered a little bit. I do love this little detail at the lower section as well. In the rocker panel, we have a upswing here as well, similar to what we had in the front end. And this creates this feeling that the car is hugging the road when you're just looking at it like this, because it feels like it sits very, very low to the ground. And we have these big, beautiful fenders as well, looking stunning. And the roof line, if we just put a center line right in the middle of the car, it looks almost like a symmetrical design. You have almost the same styling in the rear like you have in the front. And I think that is very unique for Audi. It also helps that we have the shoulder line, like we talked about, starting from the headlights and creating the edge for the headlights, going all the way through the cars, and then creating the exact same line like we have in the front for the headlights, creating that line for the taillights as well. Now coming around to the rear end, I forgot to mention this, the side mirrors being silvered out. And this brings back the old, or the classic silver side mirror caps that we had for the Audi S models. And in this case, we also have a full LED indicator light in the side mirror, which is very unusual to see for 2013. So Audi was, I guess, one of the first ones to put that in a production car. Now coming around to the rear end, what makes the TTS special here, and the easiest way to differentiate this from a regular TT, is if you look all the way down low, you're gonna find the quad exhaust pipes right here, looking stunning. I also like that this is silver, because again, it just breaks up some of this black that we have all over this car. Love the design of the tail section here. And if I were to pick one favorite view for this vehicle, it's probably going to be this, the 3/4 rear view. It just looks beautiful. Now, as you know, in the first generation Audi TT, they did have the same sleek rear end like we have here, but the problem with that is, with the first generation, is they got a lot of lawsuits, because at high speeds, what happened was the rear end was starting to lift, and the first generation TT got into a lot of very, very bad accidents. So what they did is eventually they just added a small little lip spoiler in the rear end, and that changes everything for the first generation Audi TT, even though it loses that sleek rear end. But however, here you can see that we still have the sleek rear end. And how Audi decided to solve this problem with this generation is that they added an active spoiler. So this entire section here is a full active spoiler. So you can manually push it up or pull it up by a button in the interior, or it goes up at about 70 miles per hour automatically. Now looking at the taillight design here, beautiful again. I do wish we had LED indicators, but this being 2013, I can sort of understand why they didn't put that in this generation. And we also have these taillights looking like they've been 3D printed or something, looking very, very cool inside with the reverse light here. But I do like the design of the taillight features, the internal pieces sitting deep within the bodywork of the car, looking super cool and very, very futuristic for this time period. In addition to the silver caps, we also have this silver fuel cap right here that says Audi TT. Small details like this just makes it feel like the designers had a lot of fun designing this car overall. And I think when it comes to the beauty, the styling, and which generation TT I personally prefer, I do think, honestly, I prefer the styling of the simple first generation. But when it comes, as I said in the intro, when it comes to driving these cars, you definitely want to go with the second generation. This, to me, I think it's one of the best interiors Audi has ever made. The previous, or the discontinued latest generation Audi TT also had a fantastic looking interior. But check this out. Everything being analog, we have the nice Audi red LEDs, very distinct LEDs. We have the beautiful door panel here, simple design with the contrast stitching going here. No cup holders in the door, and a couple of cup holders right there in the center console. And these seats, beautiful looking seats as well, TTS embroidered into the backrest, beautiful bolstering here as well, power assisted of course, just looking very sporty. And this looks like a cabin or an interior that you just want to jump in and have it wrap around you and take it for a drive. So let's jump in here, check out all the details that goes in this stunning Audi TT interior. So first of all, you have this new navigation system that was a part of the facelift. This got a lot better integrated in the overall design that we had from the pre-facelift. And you also have this stunning, beautiful gauges, analog gauges. Sounds really good as well. You have the small little screen in the middle with the all the essential information. You don't need more information than that. You have the temp gauge, fuel gauge up top, looking beautiful. Not sure if you can see it right there. And look at this housing for it. What a specific defined house for the gauge cluster. Round speedometer, round tachometer, round air vents as well. Easy to adjust, figure out what to do there. You have the controls for the light settings down here as well. In addition to all these beautiful round vents that you have in the center portion, soft touch, sort of soft touch material up top. It's not hard plastic. It has some sponginess to it, which brings up the quality feel of the interior. Now looking at this infotainment system here, I don't think we can call it that, but this navigation system, you can see that it is, of course, pretty dated here. And that is totally fine. I mean, it's not something that you're gonna use today. You can go into the navigation and figure this out, but you will probably wanna have some aftermarket Apple CarPlay piece if you wanna use this as a daily driver today and have all the information that you have in modern cars. That would not be a big problem at all. I do like this size of screen, and I want to bring back these type of screens in today's cars. I just prefer them not sticking out like a TV on the dash and just have it like this. Now, one detail that I love about this generation TT, or Audis in general, are these LEDs. It's a small little detail, but look at how distinct these LEDs light up. They look like high quality, and you can hear the tick noise. This is so much better than the screen designs that we have today. In my opinion, all the way down here, you have heated seats in 3 different levels. You can see that right there. Circulating air as well. You have 1 zone climate in this one because it's such a small vehicle overall. You don't need 2 zones. And this is how you adjust where the air is actually coming out from. So let's bring down the temperature a little bit right there. We can open up this lid, and you can see that we have a little bit of storage here and also a cigarette outlet right there. I do like this silver. Again, it just breaks up all the black that's going on in here. You have the gear selector, this being a 6-speed automatic. You can put it in drive, you can put it in manual here as well and shift up and down manually, or you can put it in sport mode. You have 2 different drive modes in here, only 2, not 53. So we have sport button right there. So you have sport on and sport off, and that's it. Traction control on and off, hazard button, and this is the button to raise up the spoiler in the back. As I said, you can do it manually with this button, or it does it automatically at about 70 miles per hour. Here's the e-brake, traditional old e-brake, feeling great. 2 cup holders right here, another 12-volt outlet, and looking at these seats again, beautifully bolstered, full leather seats. I love that it says TTS in the backrest here, looking stunning. No sunroof in this car. I don't want to see a sunroof in here because this is a sports car, and the overall design, the shape of the roof, I want to have it be a solid piece of aluminum. This entire car is made out of aluminum, which means that the weight distribution for this, compared to the first generation, which was a little bit front heavy, this one comes in at exactly 50-50 weight distribution, making it a perfect sports car. Now looking at the steering wheel here, nice small looking steering wheel with the volume button right here. You have some voice command here as well, and you can switch up some of the settings with this button for example, the audio settings. You just switch it up right here, and you can toggle up and down here as well. You have the cruise control settings down here with this stock, and of course the washer fluid going on right here on the right side right there. And you have the indicator stock on the left side, in addition to some paddles for manually shifting this 6-speed automatic. So overall, I mean, look at this interior and tell me that you prefer newer interiors over this. I mean, I can't see any reason why new interiors are better looking than this, and also has a better functionality, better design than this. This is a lot easier to use, in my opinion, than trying to figure out where in the software you go to change the temperature and so on. So this, to me, is one of the best interiors Audi has ever made. And as I said, the current generation, or the last generation Audi TT, still had that beautiful interior styling intact, but unfortunately that is now being discontinued. So with that said, let's take this beauty for a drive and let's see what this Audi TT 2013 Audi TTS is all about. All right, guys, let's take the 2013 Audi TTS for a drive. I'm gonna put it in sport mode. I'm gonna try the paddles as well and see how it handles. But I have to say, this cabin, one of the coziest cabins I've ever sat in. I feel like it's hugging me and just wraps around me when I'm sitting in here. And this is what I want to feel personally in a sports car. I want it to feel small. I want it to feel nimble. Let's put it into sport mode. It feels like it has more power than the 265 horsepower that we have in this car. And that has to do with weight. The weight of these cars back in the day, they were so much lighter than the heavy cars that we have today. So of course it's going to feel a lot more nimble and a lot more powerful than what it actually is. And I love that. So we got a 2-liter inline 4. Let's put it in manual mode here. Wow, shifts are surprisingly quick for a 2013 car. And I just noticed that this specific TTS only has 51,664 miles on the clock. So it is not, it's a pretty fresh Audi TTS. And as I said, the 2-liter inline 4, the turbo 4 that we have here, it feels like it has more power than 265 horsepower. And that has to do all with the weight. We got 0 to 60 in about 5.2 seconds. I mean, listen to those shifts. This is a fun car to drive in manual. I thought the shifts were going to be a lot slower than this, but honestly, very, very snappy gearbox from this 6-speed automatic with the paddles. There is, of course, a little bit of road noise in here, but that is totally fine. I don't mind that one bit. It's a small vehicle. It's a fun vehicle. This is a car that you definitely want to take up to the mountains and just drive around up there on those curvy roads, not in downtown Denver that we're at right now, but still here, it's still a fun car to drive. Love the steering wheel as well. It's not too big. It's pretty thin. It feels light in your hand. Man, this gearbox, great gearbox. Super surprising to me to see just how good this gearbox is, because back in the day, paddle gearbox were not that great, but here definitely feels fantastic. Coming back to these interiors, man, honestly, I don't think we are making progress when it comes to interior design. I think we're going in the completely opposite direction. It's becoming more like a consumer electronics products, every single vehicle out there today. And it's less about the driving now. It's more about always being entertained by what's on the screens. And here we have a small little screen that you can't really do anything with today anyway, because everything is so outdated. But what this makes you do when you're driving a sports car, specifically like this, is it makes you focus on the driving experience. And that is exactly what you want to do when you're sitting specifically in an Audi TTS like this from 2013. All right, so let's floor it here. Let's go. Oh yeah, 265 horsepower is more than enough. I don't feel like I need more power. Would be nice to see how the Audi TT RS of this generation, how that felt. Probably fantastic as well if you have a similar gearbox to this one. But 265 horsepower in this small package feels fantastic. And I drove the new Audi TT as well, and that was still, or the latest generation. And I also love that car because, as I said in the when we talked about the interior, that still had that old school vibe of the interior. We don't even have a big screen in the last generation Audi TT, which means to me, like, the designers or the engineers and the makers of that car wanted the driver to focus on the driving experience. And that is why I prefer older cars in general, because it just feels like it feels like more of a car back in the day felt like more of a separated product from any other product because it was a car. You went in to drive it, you had a connection with the car itself. But man, this goes. It is such a fun car to drive. Big thanks as always to European Auto House here in Denver for providing this Audi TT for me to film for you guys today. Very, very fun car to drive. And if you're interested in this, you can go and check it out at EuropeanAutoHouseCO.com. I'm gonna link it as always down in the description, of course. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.